Joining us now, host of Sirius XM's The Dean Obadiah Show, Dean Obadiah. He's an NBC News Think contributor, and his new piece for the site is entitled "Trump's Election Lies Are an Attempted Coup. Biden and other Democrats should say so." So why should they say so? Because I believe they're trying to move on kind of above the fray and not get into the gutter of ridiculousness, which will peter out on its own anyway.
First, I would say to them, if they saw this in any other country, a president lost the election clearly and for a month claimed it was fraud, it was rigged, tried to get his own FBI involved, pressured elected officials to literally break the law like he did with Brian Kemp in Georgia. If you saw that, you wouldn't hesitate to say, wow, that looks like a political coup, or at least a guy who's an authoritarian who wants to backslide the democracy there. There should be no hesitance. The idea that, and I respect Joe Biden a great deal, that he wants to be above this. I've talked to experts on authoritarianism. That's the exact wrong answer. What you're doing is emboldening him, and you're normalizing the worst behavior. I mean, look what Donald Trump has done. He's got Republicans, 75, 80%, believing the election is a fraud, making it harder for Joe Biden to govern. That's one thing. But second, is every election from now on the new normal, that you claim fraud for a month without any proof whatsoever? I think it's so important for people to understand that even Rudy Giuliani, when in federal court last week in Pennsylvania, said this is not a fraud case. Trump's lawyers in Arizona said this is not a fraud case. His lawyers in Bucks County, Pennsylvania said we're not even alleging dead people voted. Because when a lawyer, I'm a lawyer, Joe's a lawyer, we can't lie to judges because we'll get disbarred. So it's one thing for your client to say crazy, wild things to undermine the democracy. You can't do that as a lawyer because you'll lose your license. The only fraud in this election is Donald J. Trump. That is it. And I think it's time for Joe Biden. If he doesn't want to use the word coup, I get it. But stand up for our democracy. Make it about that. And you might even get Republicans who are in the middle to come along and go, you know what? This is an attack on our democracy for a whole month. Fraud, rigged, hoax. Where's the proof? There's none. That's when it becomes a political coup.
So, you know, Mika, people think that to call this a coup is hyperbolic or an attempted coup. You just look at the definition in Wikipedia, and it says typically it is an illegal, unconstitutional attempt to seize power by a political faction. Definition of coup, of course, since he's already in power, would be an auto coup. But at the same time, you look at the definition, and if it's, I guess I would just say to Trump defenders, if it's not an attempted coup, if it's not an illegal, unconstitutional attempt to seize power by a political faction, when he's trying to call people to the White House to get them to change their votes, trying to call the governor of Arizona to try to stop him from doing legally what he has to do, which is to certify the election results, trying to get those in Michigan and Wayne County to illegally not certify the votes there. If Republicans don't think it's a coup,
right,
or doesn't fit this definition of a coup in all four corners, then I'd love to hear what they would call it. Mika?
Well, I think, first of all, the question is, for this long laundry list of assaults on our democracy, and I'll throw it back to Dean, shouldn't this president be held accountable? But to Joe's point, yes, it would be great to hold this attempted coup, this president accountable for him. But wouldn't that be done by Republicans and Democrats who are right now in power? And why isn't that happening?
You have Democrats who are following Joe Biden's lead of taking the high road. Joe Biden used words like this is totally irresponsible. I understand what Joe Biden's going for. I, like him, would love to see America unified. I don't think that happens, but maybe we bring the temperature down a little bit. But if you look at the history of Mussolini, other authoritarians, Putin, when you don't stand up to them, they get emboldened. They get worse. That's what's going on. And
I agree.
Look, I'm from New Jersey. We speak bluntly. I hope all the Democrats channel their inner New Jersey at this point. Channel your inner Biden. Come on, man. Give us a come on, man. What are you doing? And making it clear. Because your silence is making it clear that this is normal.
Thanks for checking out MSNBC on YouTube, and make sure you subscribe to stay up to date on the day's biggest stories. And you can click on any of the videos around us to watch more from Morning Joe and MSNBC. Thanks so much for watching.